I know. Well, let's think about this. We've been talking about the purpose of an income statement. The purpose of an income statement is what? To determine what? Made money or lost money. If I made money or lost money, are my debits and credits going to equal? If they did, that would have to mean that I broke even. Okay, let me give you this as a heads up. We're not going to be breaking even. We are either going to make money or we're going to lose money. What are the odds of a business really breaking even? Very slim, and let me tell you, accounting land, not going to happen. Okay, so if we know that the purpose of the income statement is to find out whether or not we made money or lost money, can our debits and credits equal? No. Okay, so when we determine if we've made money or lost money, we're really talking about our revenue and our expenses. Okay, now think back to T accounts. You ready? Revenue, normal balance. Credit, expenses, normal balance. Debit. Okay, so I am going to have the credit column of my income statement column is going to be my revenue. My expense column or my debit column are going to be my expenses. Which one do I want to be bigger? Right? My revenue column, which is my credit column, I need to be bigger. So therefore, if my credit column is bigger than my debit column, success has been made and my business has made money. Okay? How much money? We can figure it out. How? Subtract them, right? The difference between your revenue, your sales and your expenses is going to give you your net income. Now, another mind-blowing thought. Okay, if my business has an income of $4,000, who gets it? You, meaning the owner, right? Because what type of business are we doing? Sole proprietorship. So if your business makes $4,000, that means that owner gets $4,000. Now, here's a question for you. You got to think debits and credits. Mrs. Grassel Capital, normal balance. Credit, right? Would you agree? Because it's owner's equity. Owner's equity is on the right-hand side. So, if Mrs. Grassel is the owner and Mrs. Grassel has just had $4,000 worth of income from her business, that $4,000 should affect a debit or a credit. Credit. Did you follow with me on that one? Because it is affecting Mrs. Grassel's capital. Mrs. Grassel Capital has a credit normal balance. It should go up $4,000. Now, when we finish our worksheet, what we have to do is we have to take our numbers from our trial balance adjusted by our adjustment column. So what does that mean? I can't take supplies and then move it over someplace. I have to look at the fact that there is an adjustment. And I look at the word cash. Cash is what type of an account? Asset. Okay? When we've been talking about the purpose of our columns, I have said income statement is for revenue and expenses. Balance sheet, I haven't talked about it today, but I have the last 2 days. What is supposed to balance? Accounting equation, which is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. So therefore, what I do to finish my worksheet is I truly look here at cash and I say cash is an asset. It will either go on an income statement or on the balance sheet. Where does it go? Balance sheet, because the purpose of a balance sheet is assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. Now, petty cash, type of an account. Asset. Assets go? Balance sheet. Okay, so what we have to do is we start at the very top of our worksheet, and we have to look at our account and know the classification. Remember when I said it's really important that you always know your account classifications? Wasn't lying. We use it all the time, as well as knowing the normal balances. So we are going to look at the account, and we're going to determine the account classification, and from there we're going to put it in either the income statement column or the balance sheet column. I am not trying to make my debits and credits equal. If it's listed on the trial balance as a debit and it has to go on the balance sheet, it goes on the balance sheet as a debit. I'm really just taking my number and carrying it over to the correct column. But don't forget that we need to adjust supplies and prepaid insurance by what is in our adjustment column. We ready to rock this? Let's go. We already said the first one, cash. Cash is an asset. Assets go on our balance sheet. So I am going to take $9,800 and I'm going to put it on the balance sheet as a debit of $9,800. I think Tanner already told me what my account classification for petty cash is. What is it again, Tanner?
Asset.
Asset, and assets go?
Balance sheet.
Thank you. 150. Accounts receivable, Ruby Price. Tyson, classification. Where's it go? Bam. You're right. Dylan, you ready for this one? Supplies, classification. Where does it go? Yes. What do I have to do, though? I have to subtract. So I have to take 456, and I need to subtract 131. Why do I have to subtract? Because 456 is a debit. The 131 is a credit. Because I have a debit and a credit, I subtract. 325. Did I do my math correct? Okay. Prepaid insurance. Evan, type of account. I'm sorry, say it again. Yes. Where does it go? Income statement or balance sheet? Yes, it does go on the balance sheet. Now, I cannot take 750 and put it on there. What do I need to do? So I'm going to put 500. Accounts payable, Richard Navarro. Jory, classification. Liabilities go where? Yes. So I need to put that $555 as a credit. Gary Baldwin drawing. Katie. Classification? Did I say drawing? Yeah. I meant to say capital. Sorry, you are right. Classification. Asset, liability, owner's equity, revenue, or expense? Owner's equity. Where does owner's equity go? Income statement or balance sheet? Yes. It does go as an income statement as a credit for $14,885. I typed the wrong number. Gary Baldwin drawing now. Caleb. Gary Baldwin drawing. Account classification. Owner's equity. Income statement or balance sheet? Try again. Income statement or balance sheet? Yes. Why? Because it was a 50-50 guess and the first one was wrong? All right, I like that. I'll take that. Okay, remember, what is the purpose of a balance sheet? What are we balancing? And what is our accounting equation? Yes. So assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity. And you told me that it was an owner's equity, so therefore it's going to have to go on our balance sheet. What did I do wrong?
For a computer statement, you said yes to income statement for capital, but you did put it in balance sheet, which is correct. So verbally you were incorrect, and that confused people. You said yes to her saying income statement for capital. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh. Sorry, it's supposed to be on balance sheet. I was totally lost. Thank you for explaining that I said something incorrectly. And I was slowly catching up. So, Gary Baldwin Capital goes on the balance sheet, not on the income statement. Sorry. I was like, I'm getting blank looks. I'm like, I don't get what I did wrong. I said something incorrectly. So, therefore, the drawing one will need to go on our balance sheet as well. For $3,400 as a debit, though. Don't forget, drawing has a debit balance, not a credit. This is where it's really easy to have the right number but put it in the wrong column. So now income summary. Let me give you a hint. What is the balance of income summary? 0, so you don't really have to put it anywhere, but I'm going to give you this hint for future life. Income summary sounds very similar to income statement, doesn't it? So income summary will always go on the income statement. Fair enough? But you don't need to worry about that for a while. I'll teach you that later. So now I am to my next account, which is sales. Classification on that one. Jordan. Revenue. Where does revenue go? Income statement. Bing, bing, bing. 4,320 as a credit. Dalton. Advertising expense. Classification. Asset, liability, owner's equity, revenue, or expense? Expense. And expenses go where, Dalton? Yes. You were one question ahead of me. So I'm going to put 931 on income statement as a debit. Insurance expense. Classification, please, Kyle. Yes. Where does it go? Yes. For how much? Where'd you find 250? I agree with you. Yes, because when I look at the trial balance, there's nothing in the trial balance, but I got to remember I have to take whatever is affected by the trial balance and my adjustment column. So I have to put 250 there. So you were right on with that, Kyle. Oops. Alyssa, classification of miscellaneous expense. Expense, where does it go? Yeah. Supplies expense. Ellie, classification. Where's it go? For how much? Yep. Last one. Who wants the really, really hard one at the end? You do? Okay, classification. Expense, where's it go? Thank you. Oops, I need some ones. All right, now, remember I started the hour saying the purpose of an income statement is to find out whether or not we have made money or lost money. Will my debits and credits equal? No. It will not. Right now, this is what I need you to do. You're going to take out your handy-dandy little calculator, and you are going to add down for income statement debit. Don't need a calculator for this one, I hope. Income statement credit. It's one number. Balance sheet debit. Balance sheet credit. Do the math. Add it up. Give me your totals. All right, did we get our math done? Not too hard, right? Okay, so Tyson, what did you get for income statement debit? Anyone else agree? You agree? Okay. Carson, I'm going to give you the really hard one. Carson, what did you get for income statement credit? Anyone else get that number? Okay, that was pretty good because you didn't need to add anything on that one. My question then is you just told me income statement debit has a total of $2,790. Income statement credit has $4,320. What do we know? What's that? It shouldn't balance, but what do we know? We made money. Why? Your revenue was greater than your expenses. Remember, the income statement credit column is all of your revenue. That's the money that you brought in for the business. Your income statement debit column is all of your expenses. We know that our credit is bigger than our expenses, so we made money. So what does that mean? On line 17, under account title, right now you're going to type in the word net income. Okay, also, what did, Braden, what did you get for balance sheet debit? Okay, and then Alyssa, what did you get for balance sheet credit? So look right here. I have 4 numbers here, but my debits and credits don't equal, and that is peachy keen. It is totally fine. I need to put over here the word net income because I didn't get to do that yet. Now, Ellie, what is the amount of my net income? The physical value, if you were going to calculate it. Yep, really, what number is it? Go ahead, calculate it for me. $1,530. Now, we just said that is 1,530 is my net income. My question for you is, who gets that money? The owner. What account are we affecting when we say the owner gets that money? Capital account, and the capital account is found where? Balance sheet as a credit. So this is what I need to do right now. If this is a net income, so the value of owner's equity is going to go up. So I need to put right here the 1,530 as a credit, and then it will also go on income statement as a debit. So now look at, I'm doing a little matching debits and credits. Would you agree? Now, this is how in our happy accounting land we know if we got our stuff done right. You ready? If I take 2,790 plus 1,530, what's it going to give me? 4,320. Would you agree? So I'm really going to do the math. I'm going to do 4,320. Now, if I take 4,320 plus 4,320, what does that give me? Oh, sorry, 4,320 plus 0. I got to say the right numbers. Now, look. Income statement, what just happened? Yeah, but what? My debits and my credits equal after I determine my net income. But here's how we prove that we did it right. I need to take this 15,440 and add my net income of 1,530. What should that equal? What if it doesn't? You did. Somewhere you made a boo-boo. And you need to go back and find and fix it. Does ours come out? Do some math. Figure it out. So now, if I look here at the very end, my income statement debits and credits equal, and my balance sheet credits, debits and credits equal. But remember, that's not until we go through and figure out if we have a profit or not. And we always go through and take my net income or my net loss and give that to the owner. Now, this is an example of a worksheet where we made money. What does that mean? We have a net income. How would it change if I had a net loss? Yes. On line 17, I would not say net income. I would say net loss. And these numbers would be in the different columns. I would have a number here on my income statement credit column, and I would have a number on my income statement or my balance sheet debit column. Does that make a little bit of sense? You will have an assignment for this chapter where you will have a net loss. Okay? Just giving you that as a heads up. It won't be on your test. Your test will be a net income, but you will have an assignment for a net loss. Try your on your own.